Hello, I'm Robin. Welcome to Bookspin. On the Storm Planet is the second story in the Casher O'Neill sequence, in which we follow Casher on his quest to liberate his homeworld Mizza from the usurper ruler Colonel Webber. It was originally published in Galaxy magazine, February 1965, and this is one of Cordwainer Smith's longer stories. It's novella length, and it's the joint longest story in this collection, The Rediscovery Man, along with The Dead Lady of Clowntown. They're both about the same page count. And I'd say there's perhaps a bit more depth in here than most of his stories. The pacing is slower than usual, and there's more room for character development. So it's a bit unusual in that respect. It's also a very weird tale, but that, of course, is true to form for this author. So, in this story, Casher finds himself on the world of Henriada, the tornado-ravaged storm planet of the title, with a dwindling population on this world. So, it's quite an interesting bit of world building going on here. So, he is seeking support in his mission against Colonel Webber, and he meets with the planetary administrator, Rankin Makeljohn, who's a somewhat mentally unstable character and a drunk, who offers to give him his power cruiser if he can carry out an assassination for him. So the target that the administrator wants assassinated is an undergirl, a domestic servant to this person called Murray Madigan, who lives on this world, and he's an Australian exile. So why exactly he wants this done, it's not very clear, at least to start with, but we have been informed that he has attempted to have this girl killed many times before, and he always fails. Every time he sends someone out to kill her, they never come back. So we start things off with a rather curious mystery. So off Casher goes to investigate, armed with a knife that is supposed to be his instrument of murder. He gets escorted to the mansion of Beauregard, which is the home of Madigan and the undergirl servant that he's supposed to kill as soon as he meets her. But of course, he doesn't kill her. Upon meeting her, Casher gets the uncanny feeling that he has always known her and always loved her. And this girl, it turns out, is a turtle woman made from turtle stock, and her name is Truth. That's T' Ruth, and she's a lot more than just a servant. She's 906 years old, but she looks like a young girl. Her master, Madigan, is paralysed by a strange medical condition, and he spends most of the story off-screen in bed. What's more, he's had his wife's personality and memories illegally imprinted onto Truth before his wife died, and now this girl effectively controls the household. What's more, she has a suite of strange hypnotic powers, which explains why so many would-be assassins fail to kill her and end up joining the mansion crew instead. So, having failed in Makeljohn's request to kill her in exchange for the power cruiser, Truth instead gives Casher an assignment of her own, a request, to fight a man called John Joytree, who is an insane, immortal space pilot who resides in the mansion's control room and is causing all kinds of trouble. I think I'm going to leave it there in terms of plot development. I don't want to give anything away too spoilery beyond that. There is a very interesting development that takes place later on in the story. An ending that I didn't see coming, which makes me keen to read the 3rd and 4th episodes in Cash's adventures. So this story has quite a long build-up. Like I said, it's quite a bit slower paced than usual, but I do think it's worth it. It's a great ending. It's a really interesting one. The novella length of the story allows for some creative character exploration and world building. And while Kasha himself and his backstory don't get explored much, we do get an intriguing glimpse into a traumatic episode in his life through a flashback scene, which includes some incredibly violent and bloody imagery. And at the same time, Truth, I think, is a really interesting personality. Having incorporated Madigan's wife's consciousness, but still retaining her identity as a turtle girl and an underperson who is encoded to serve humanity. So she has a kind of dual persona. And it's also suggested that despite her kind of officially lowly status, she has the actual power in this world. But it's a subtle kind of power, a hypnotic power, but not without its limits. Her turtle heritage, in fact, imposes some limits on her power. We learn that, for example, that the turtle's instinct to withdraw into its shell when it faces danger, as you might see in nature, while she doesn't have a shell, she still retains its instinct. She cannot overcome this, and that is why she has to enlist Kasha's help to face off the mad spaceman to help defend her master. Now, if all this sounds rather weird, this is just scratching the surface of the story. There's a whole lot more going on that reveals a very bizarre world and society on this planet, Henriada. So we get references to things like wind people and air whales and forgetties. The latter term, if you're wondering, refers to a class of people who have been sentenced to amnesia as punishment for their crimes. So it's a weird tale for sure. Some pretty bizarre world building in here. But there's also some intriguing mystery and suspense throughout the story. Some colourful characters. A lot to enjoy. It's not perfect. It's a bit uneven at times. And it's not... I wouldn't say this is as powerful or as emotionally impactful as the other novella which I referred to, The Dead Lady of Clowntown. But it is still an entertaining story on the whole, and it has a decent payoff in the ending. So it's worth the read for sure.